better be worth my time. Good luck out there.
I alternate between Eternal Rest because I play Tith. Shadow Word Death fucking pumps, and Expiation fucking pumps. Okay, that is another reason, another way you can generate so much pressure. If you guys did see like some of my other videos, like my one shot montage esque, A lot of it is expiation, man. You're getting a lot of deaths, and you're literally pressing on a cooldown because it doesn't really do any, doesn't do that much damage towards you, and it does virtually the same damage as like a freaking. So what does a Mind Blast do? Mind Blast does 25k. This does 16k, but the expiations are the same, right? Expiation does the same for both, and expiation can crit. So just getting as many expiations as possible, being able to do that, like, oh, let me reset the meters here. Like there are some games where like this is all you have to do to like execute an enemy. Okay, reset here. Like you can just press Mind Blast into death. Oh, I didn't press the Mind Blast off. Dummy. Okay, Mind Blast into death. That is now doing 24k. Like those two globals just did 70k damage instantly. And you know you add the purge with the Purge of the Wicked, Mind Blast into death, and if things crit, look at that, 40k now. That little go there was 65, about 70, almost 80k damage. That's a lot of damage just from pressing death, and you press that shit on cooldown. Other than that, Catharsis, if you know you're gonna get attacked. Okay, versus rot comps, so like Aflock or DKs that you know you're gonna get gripped in and get damage in. Catharsis is gonna help. It's a lot of damage. It affects Atonement. It's gonna be a lot of healing as well. Third alternative is actually Dark Arc I've used. You could also run Dome if you want to play more defensive style. Like if you're playing that basic build, you want to play Dome, that would be where you'd put Dome. Or even Archangel. I think Dome would probably be a better and more consistent pick for you. The thing with Dome, man, if you guys play solo shuffle and you're not high rated, don't play Dome, please. Just don't do it. You gotta save yourself some pain. Yeah, Dark Arc could work really well. I was playing Mage Lock, and there were comps where they weren't hitting me, but against like double melee when my team was able to tee off, I just played Dark Arc. It was full thrust. Like he forced out everything. Lastly, you could also go with Thought Steal versus mages. That's another alternative to get poly. Something honestly, when I was queuing, I haven't really queued into a lot of mages, surprisingly, like even Rogue Mage. So I never really got the opportunity to use it, but that is what it is. There are some other builds obviously out there. I'm not going to give you guys every single build. I don't want to make this a whole super long video on that, but that is the builds that I use, and then I want to give you guys one to utilize that's more defensive as well. Okay, next up here, what do we have? Damage rotation. Okay, so the damage rotation, when it comes to in the arena, all you got to be doing, keep a Purge of the Wicked. One thing I got in the habit of, okay, that was killing me, I think, is worrying about keeping up purges on everything. If you have time, do it. But as I'm going to discuss I was going to discuss this in the last section, but momentum, okay? Sometimes it's not worth going around spending 3 globals to dot everything and push up just to get a dot on somebody. Sometimes it's better just to dot one target and fucking rip it, and just do your whole damage go. So I'll start off with my burst rotation, because this is how I start literally every single game. So I'll be coming in here. I will dot my target up. I'm running. I gotta run short death here. Okay, so that's typically what I'll be running. I run short death the most often, even over Catharsis, just because it depends on the comp I'm playing. But anyway, so I come in here, I dot the target, I'll power shield, I'll PI, I'll badge if I have it, Schism into Penance, into Mind Blast, into Solace, into Mind Blast, into Smite, into Mind Beams, into Smite, into Blast, reapply that, and then we just keep it going again. So when it comes to the basic damage rotation, all I'm doing is alternating schools the best you can. There are some times you can't because you run out of shadow things to cast, especially if you're playing high haste. But whenever you have that shadow school up, you're just going to alternate it. Okay, so I go back to Penance. Penance is always going to be your priority. Keep up your dots, keep up your dot at least on your single target so that you can get the expiation going. And then just alternate. Okay, it's nothing really. Don't really overthink it. Just press the buttons. Okay, really important for damage rotation is just press the dang buttons. And obviously you want to weave in your powered shield on cooldown. Okay, I know this is damage rotation, but because of the haste that you get, you want to keep weaving this in as much as possible. Every single time you got something, you're going to press that. I have PI up again. Okay, Penance, into Mind Games, into Mind Blast, into Smite, into Death. You can throw another Death. You can throw Mind Blast, Solace. Keep up your dots again. Mind Blast, Penance, press your shield. Maybe throw it to Death.
Hello, my name is John, and I have nothing to sell you. Everything what I just said was a lie. But the fact is that your Team Fortress 2 inventory looks more run down than a hooker's in GTA 5. Trader.gg allows you to trade your old skins instantly for exciting new ones.
You know Apex Legends, right? Of course you do. You play it a lot. Kill, survive, win. Pretty fun. That's Apex. But Legends? Now, if you're lagging, you can't become one. With Exit Lag, you get rid of lag in an easy-to-use software that optimizes your connection and always chooses the best route for a smooth gameplay experience. That way, you can continue killing to become a legend. Go to exitlag.com to get a 3-day free trial.
Go back into doing the other stuff. Like, this haste is fucking insane, guys. I just want you to, like, I am actually addicted to playing this class strictly because of the haste. Because every time you shield, you just get 10% more haste. It's almost a bloodlust every time you press shield. It's crazy. But when it comes to deep education, that is it, man. Keep up your dot, your Purge of the Wicked, and utilize the expiation to its fullest. list. But damage rotation. Okay, so the damage rotation. When it comes to in the arena, all you got to be doing, keep a Purge of the Wicked. One thing I got in the habit of, okay, that was killing me, I think, is worrying about keeping up purges on everybody. If you have time, do it. But as I'm going to discuss I was going to discuss this in the last section, but momentum, okay? Sometimes it's not worth going around spending 3 globals to dot everything and push up just to get a dot on somebody. Sometimes it's better just to dot one target and fucking rip it, and just do your whole damage go. So I'll start off with my burst rotation, because this is how I start literally every single game. So I'll be coming in here. I will dot my target up. I'm gotta run short death here. Okay, so that's typically what I'll be running. I run short death the most often, even over Catharsis. Just because it depends on the comp I'm playing. But anyway, so I come in here, I dot the target, I'll power, shield, I'll PI, I'll badge if I have it, Schism into Penance, into Mind Blast, into Solace, into Mind Blast, into Smite, into Mind Beams, into Smite, into Blast, reapply that, and then we just keep it going again. So when it comes to the basic damage rotation, all I'm doing is alternating schools the best you can. There are some times you can't because you run out of shadow things to cast, especially if you're playing high haste. But whenever you have that shadow school up, you're just going to alternate it. Okay, so I go back to Penance. Penance is always going to be your priority. Keep up your dots, keep up your dot at least on your single target so that you can get the expiation going. And then just alternate. Okay, it's nothing really. Don't really overthink it. Just press the buttons. Okay, really important for damage rotation is just press the dang buttons. And obviously you want to weave in your powered shield on cooldown. Okay, I know this is damage rotation, but because of the haste that you get, you want to keep weaving this in as much as possible. Every single time you got something, you're going to press that. I have PI up again. Okay, Penance, into Mind Games, into Mind Blast, into Smite, into Death. You can throw another Death. You can throw Mind Blast, Solace. Keep up your dots again. Mind Blast, Penance. Press your shield. You can go to Death. Go back into doing the other stuff. Like, this haste is fucking insane, guys. I just want you to, like, I am actually addicted to playing this class strictly because of the haste. Because every time you shield, you just get 10% more haste. It's almost a bloodlust every time you press shield. It's crazy. But when it comes to deep vegetation, that is it, man. Keep up your dot, your Purge of the Wicked, and utilize the expiation to its fullest. But look at that. Shadow War Death was my top damage. That won't happen. Usually it's going to be Penance, Mind Blast, or Expiation off of the top. If it's a longer game, it's going to be Purge of the Wicked. And if you're multi-dot, especially as well. So that is the damage rotation. I don't think I missed anything. Obviously, press Shadow Feed on cooldown. Press Schism every single time it's up, and really just practice alternating the spells. If you need to just sit on a target dummy for 30 minutes and just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, it's really going to help you. And it also makes up for not playing Shadow Covenant. If you're maximizing this and getting 50% damage on every single spell, this is only 25, potentially 35% damage. Because if you're using Shadow Covenant, right, and you're not using Quality Equilibrium or using it correctly, what's the point of playing Shadow Covenant? You're going to get about the same. You're going to be doing the same stuff. Your damage is still going to be the same. So, that's what it is. So when it comes to healing rotation, okay, the basic healing rotation is going to be all just that shadow, that power shield leaving. Okay, if you can start the game hard and generate a lot of momentum on it, all you're going to have to do is damage. Okay, you're just pressing your damage rotation. You're going to shield this guy. You're going to keep going. Keep doing the healing, and you're going to hope that you can get this momentum that you're generating is going to be enough to be able to keep the guy up. Throw shield back on a cooldown, so he's just non-stop getting healed. When it comes to if you need a little bit more than that, first off, if it's a little bit of healing, I still wouldn't worry about it. Okay, don't get super concerned if your teammates are at 70% health or 80% health. It's going to be okay. You're going to make it through. When it comes to, like, if they are getting a little bit concerned, Radiance is an alternative, especially if you need to heal 2 targets. If not, Flash Shield. Always want to make sure you're aware of your mana cost on this. So Flash Shield costs 9k mana. Radiance is 13k mana. So Flash Shield will do more single target. Okay, so Flash Shield 48k, Radiance 50k. Oh, about the same. Okay, but the mana cost is different. And if you have the opportunity to cast, just cast the Flash Shield because you want to save those Radiances if you need them, like in an emergency situation. But like I said, just press your damage in between. If you need heals, you cast Radiance. If you have the opportunity, cast Flash Shield. Do I ever use Penance defensively? Absolutely. Just kind of be wary on this. I do it rarely, but it's more so when I'm on the move or if like I don't have the opportunity to cast, they have a kick ready. If I don't have, okay, that's probably the best way to explain it. I don't have Radiance up, I might get kicked if I cast. So I'm gonna go to a pillar, tap penance, hide behind the pillar. Or if I need, flash heal one target, penance the other target, and just to keep moving, continue to heal on the move. So that's the alternative to that. But the biggest thing is just get comfortable, swap, constantly pressing that power shield button in between. Because if you keep up those atonements, and also you can use Radiance just to keep up atonement as well. But like I also said, just don't be overly concerned about top of your team. There are a lot of games where your teammates are never going to be topped off. They're going to be floating around 60 to 80%. As long as you're aware of that, and they are aware of that more importantly, especially if you're playing 2s or 3s in a solo shuffle, because sometimes people panic. It's really hard, a struggle of playing Disc Priest in solo shuffle, because a lot of times these people are just panicking when their health's at 50% and they pop all their cooldowns when you're just chilling, you're just doing damage. And you can recover real quick. You throw in 2 flash shields with a shield or into a Radiance, like they're topped off, you're good. Go, go, go. You always want to just keep playing offensive as much as possible.
Make the leap. Bring what you do online with GoDaddy. Whatever your thing is, we've got the right domain for you. Search the largest selection of domains. See what you find and get yours before it's gone. Get your domain today at godaddy.com.
टर्की की है बिल्कुल हलीमे लगती है
अम्मी अम्मी एक बार चाय पे मिल लेना।
पहले ये बताओ, उसे चाय बनानी आती है? हमारी वाली, स्याह रंग वाली नहीं।
मैं सिखा दूंगा ना।
तुम
सुप्रीम जमाए अपना रंग।
वही रंग है।
हलीमे तो हमारे रंग वाली चाय सीख लेगी, पर अब मुझे टर्किश कौन सिखाएगा?
यही तो है अपना।
नई सुप्रीम सुनहरा रंग हर कप में।
We got our next one here. So mana. Okay, so mana efficiency is starting to become an issue for 3s more so than anything. Solo shuffle, I almost rarely ever run out of mana. The games are too quick. But 3s, I'm really starting to experience it. When it comes to the playstyle, really just remember to press Solace. I've gone in the habit of lacking my Solaces because when it comes to solo shuffle, you don't really have the concern of mana, and Solace is not that insane of damage. It can do some good damage with Wheel and Woe, but a lot of times I'm using those Wheel and Woes for big shields, honestly. Just because sometimes it's better just to press Smite, because more mana, I'm pressing a lot, in my damage rotation at least. So it just kind of depends on that, but really try to remember to press Solace. If you want to put like Solace, I could make a new action bar or something here, and put Solace on it. Oh, I've covered that whole time. I'm so sorry, guys. I was covering the swapping of Twilight Equilibrium. But yeah, so you can get an extra cooldown button here just to make sure you're always pressing Powered Solace on cooldown. But that's it, man. And then drink early, okay? Drink early and often. Don't Radiance when you don't need to. If you don't need a Radiance, don't press it. If you can heal via Atonement, you're going to be way more mana efficient. There are a lot of games. Know your matchup, okay? I was versing. There was some dampened comps like Ardruid, Ellie comps basically. When I'm playing Mage Lock Disc, when our comp can dampen and they can dampen. So just knowing the battle, I'm at 80%. If I see an opportunity, I'm going to go for a drink. And same thing goes for 2s. If you see an opportunity, 2s in solo shuffle, I really don't think you're going to have too much of a mana issue, because 2s you're able to pretty much heal. You can heal offensive for a very large majority of the time, so you probably won't even need to. And in solo shuffle, odds are you're not running out of mana unless you're playing hyper defensive. And if that's the case, play more offensive, and that's how you fix your mana. Okay, so that's it on healing mana. Positioning. Okay, this is important. I had a really bad habit when I first started playing Disc because I was playing Evoker. And Evoker, I was just always in the fight, and I don't want to do that. This is my little arena here, okay? So we got 4 pillars. We're going to pretend this is a model version of Nagrand Arena. If your teammates are over here, you are over here, really far away. I like to even have the pillar, but don't even hug the pillar. Stay even further away. always stay max range. If you do not get touched as the Disc Priest, you will excel, I promise you, because you will be able to free cast with no interruptions. Whether it's grips or instant CC, there are so much instant CCs in this game, it's so annoying to deal with. And sometimes just your positioning will fix all of that. Communicate with your teammates. I made a whole video, my last video on solo shuffle, healing the, healing while getting trained. And, you know, positioning yourself around the pillars and just being able to kite around and stay max range in the first place. If you can prevent getting swapped to or getting CC'd in the first place, and you could just sit here and do this the entire game, I promise you, you're going to win more games. Because if you don't get touched, you're going to pump. And when you pump, you just generate so much pressure on top of them, and it's going to do a lot of work for you. A lot of the work for you. And then as people move, so like if the fight starts moving, you move with the fight. Okay, they start pushing around that pillar, I'm switching over to the other pillar. They start coming towards you here, I'm swapping out the other way immediately before they even get close. Okay, if you need to, let's say they push up and you can't get away there, maybe throw in a roots. I throw in my void tendrils, I fade, feather myself, shield myself, get to the next pillar, and then reposition again. Max range always. Max range always. That's really, really important. So practice that. Make sure you're, if you need to watch your games back, see where you could have done better positioning. A lot of games can be winner. A lot of games are won and lost on positioning, especially at Disc Priest. Because once you gripped in, it's really hard to do damage. And once you can't do damage, and that's when people start saying, "Oh, I can't heal. I just keep getting trained." Because you were in a bad position in the first place. You got swapped to, you got gripped in, you got CC'd, and now you can't heal with damage. You can heal with damage if you just stay in the back and just PvE. Pushing for fears when necessary. So this is going into our CC, our next part here. Fears are not super important, okay? Depending on the game. If you're in solo shuffle, unless the fight comes to you, don't bother about fearing, okay? A lot of times I throw games away just by trying to fear somebody. Obviously fear is good. I'm not saying don't fear, but just know have risk and reward. The game just started. Everyone has their cooldowns. Should you push in for a fear? Absolutely not. Did the cooldowns just finish and the healer has no trinket? Maybe it's worth pushing in. Really just be cautious with it. When in doubt, stay out, all right? Just do damage, do your PV. The game, obviously, you can't hit. I throw games away just by trying to fear somebody. Obviously fear is good. I'm not saying don't fear, but just know have risk and reward. The game just started. Everyone has their cooldowns. Should you push in for a fear? Absolutely not. Did the cooldowns just finish and the healer has no trinket? Maybe it's worth pushing in. Really just be cautious with it. When in doubt, stay out, all right? Just do damage, do your PvE stuff, keep up your atonements, do damage, generate pressure. Because sometimes that one CC, the time it takes to run over and get the CC, you could have done more damage. Metaphorically, you could have done more damage to the other team by just doing damage. Rather than pushing it for all the time it took to go over there. You lost healing, you lost atonement momentum, everything like that. Dealing with kicks. Okay, we're gonna have the next part here. Dealing with kicks. You don't have to, okay? Just cast. Really, it is a skill to learn if you are not used to playing disc or a healer that has powerful shadow and light tools. Just cast, man. If you kick the Mind Blast, cast Smite. And be in the habit of getting quick at it, okay? That's another important thing. There's a lot of times where you watch people play and let's say they cast my games, they get kicked, they're sitting here for like 2 seconds, and then they start casting. But if you watch some other players, I'm getting good at this. I do this a lot of times. I mean, there's definitely still hiccups I get in it, but like let's say I'm casting my games, I get kicked, instantly penance, instantly back into casting whatever I need to do. You forget about Twilight Equilibrium for a minute, just keep casting. Okay, you kicked on Smite. You can cast Shadow or Death. You can cast Mind Glass. You can cast Mind Games. You can press, and you can always press Purge of the Wicked. Whatever you kicked on, you can cast Purge of the Wicked. So don't forget that. If you need to just spam Purge of the Wicked, if you kicked on both schools, spam some Purge of the Wickeds out. Do what you got to do. But do not worry about getting kicked. If you get kicked, it is what it is. Side note though, if you are in a lot of trouble, okay, there are 2 good alternatives you can do. So first off, you could utilize MC more, okay? If you're in a lot of trouble, something I like to do is use either MG or MC to bait kicks. Okay, know what's going on. If this works more so with one person on you. If you're trained by this one guy, what you could do is just cast Mind Control right in his face. Or, I guess I can't cast it. I'll cast Mind Games right in his face. There was not a warrior in here that's going to not press Reflect or Kick on Mind Games. Doesn't matter who it's on. Doesn't matter if Mind Games does 10k damage. Just because of what it is, they're going to press something. So they're either going to kick it, or they're going to reflect it, or they're going to kick it. So you get kicked on purpose, spam Flash Heals. Okay? If you want to get damage off, you can do the opposite. Cast Flash Heal. Let's say you're playing Shadow Covenant. Cast Flash Heal on purpose, right in their face. Get kicked, Shadow Covenant, thrust all the shadow spells. You know, utilize that. This goes for like any class, man. If you know your schools, bait kicks on the opposite school on purpose. People don't realize that you're doing that. Like, oh, this idiot just let me kick him. Yeah, no shit, because I'm going to kick your ass. Sorry, that was really randomly aggressive. But like, yeah, knowing your abilities that you want to press and getting kicked on the opposite one on purpose. Okay, cooldown management. Cooldown management. So we gained a second charge of pain suppression in this patch. So don't be scared to use one early. I like to always save. I'm always in my mind. I'm saving one for a certain cooldown, like Death Mark. It's always a great example of Death Mark. Or what's another big one? Like Serenity for Windwalkers. I always want to have a pain suppression ready for that. Sometimes just shit happens. People start taking a lot of damage. I'll just press the first pain suppression right off the bat. Always utilize it. You can use it in stuns. If you're versing a hunter, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of hunters coming up in the next 10:07 with these buffs. They stun you. They're about to trap you. Get the PS off before the trap. Don't be super cautious on using it now that you have 2 charges of it, and it's not that crazy of a reduction. It's only 40%. People can most definitely kill you through it. So just be aware of that as well. And like I said, just being aware of the other team's cooldowns. Use it early too. You've seen a warrior pop spear. The second that spear hits the ground, I am PSing. I don't care if he's at 100% health with a shield on. I am pressing that immediately because you know that's the damage coming in. And a damage mitigation ability, you want to get in the habit of using early. You don't use it as a reactive spell. You use it right away before the damage comes in. Obviously, when they use the cooldowns though. So the second you see these big cooldowns, or you see them setting up for CC, like I see a hunter running at me, I know he's going to scatter me into a trap or something. Maybe I'll use that. Or like a DH is running towards me, saying he's probably going to banish fear me. I'm going to drop that PS, try to pre-PS the go. That's something you could work on as well. When it comes to Rapture early, again, these are just, I feel like this is going to be the same thing with all of these, because that's what this is, damage reduction. Okay, doming early, do not rely on dome. If you're playing big dome and you're playing in voice and you can communicate all that, obviously you want to be a little bit more cautious with your dome usage, but a lot of times I will just dome the first go, okay? Like, just go fucking dome. If I don't want to drop PS on it, I'll just dome immediately, and they might swap, they might do whatever it is. And also, on that note, dome is really good as a deterrent. So this is like trying to think 2 steps ahead of the other team on this, but you could drop dome as a way to peel, okay? So like, let's say I'm playing with a warlock, and my warlock has all his cooldowns up. I can dome him at 100% health, and this guy's gonna be like, this idiot Disc Priest just domed. I'm just gonna swap. He swaps, he gets his ass beat. And I do that myself in 2s. A rogue comes on me, and I just want him to get off me, okay? I just don't want to get kidney shot. I'll randomly dome at 100% health. Like, if you're not playing big dome is not good. It's 25%. Like, any class in the game can kill you through that in the stun. It's like a bark skin on a 3-minute cooldown. That makes it sound so bad. But yeah, you can even just use it for like a deterrent, which is something else pretty cool to use it with. It's pretty cool to use it with.